Hello, you're listening to episode 277 of the Small and Supercharged podcast with Ria Freeman. Well, hello, Small and Supercharged podcast listeners. I hope you're having a brilliant, whatever day you listen to this, Wednesday, whatever day you listen. But today I'm going to talk to you about the value of just asking for what you want. Because on last week before, who knows, because it depends when you're listening to this, I submitted my first draft of my book, which is very exciting. But part of the book is people's quotes. So quotes and tips and information that I wanted to share with you from really fab people that I have discovered online, that I've researched, that I think have got a really interesting story. And they were kind enough to say yes to quite a lot of people. Did an audio interview with me, which will be out as a short podcast when the book comes out. But the people that gave up their time were incredibly kind, incredibly willing. And that's why I wanted to talk about the value of just asking for what you want. Because if I hadn't asked, we wouldn't have anybody in the book. And some of the people that have been in the book that have been incredibly generous with their time, and their team have been incredibly generous as well, are people who are like wildest dream interview kind of people that I have admired for years and years and years. People that when I researched, I was so excited about just the thought of them being in the book. Of course, it hasn't all been plain sailing, which we're going to talk about, but I wanted to say just flipping ask. But there are some things you can do to help improve your chances of your ask going well, and maybe give you the confidence to ask, because a no isn't fatal. Being ignored isn't fatal, thank God, because I would be long dead. A lot of people that I contacted, I went wide on my list because I knew that I'd get some no's. I was quite surprised at how many people completely ignored me whilst simultaneously asking for other things. That was quite eye-opening. But anyway, let's go. So we're going to talk about just ask. Just ask for what you want. Think about what you want. If you need other people to get information from, if you need other people's opinions, thoughts, advice, just ask. Just ask. It's genuinely that simple. I think sometimes we put so much weight on, well, what happens if people say no? Well, let's just ask that question again. What does happen if someone says no? Nothing. You're exactly where you are now. So I don't know why we're not asking. I think it's more of an ego thing, that if someone says no or someone ignores us, what does that mean about us? Well, I'll tell you a secret. Nothing. It doesn't mean anything about us. It's not a direct reflection of us at all. It might be a reflection of the email, that the ask that you sent wasn't perhaps as good as it could have been, but who knows, they might say yes. So let's get started. The first thing you need to think about is, why are you asking? So when you are asking somebody for something, you want something of theirs. So that could be their time, their knowledge, usually it's time or knowledge, isn't it? Time, knowledge. You need to think about why you're asking them and what information you can give them that will help them make a decision. This does not mean, for the love of God, please don't do this. This doesn't mean you need to send them 3,000 words about how great you are. No one's reading that. But you need to make sure that you have got enough information in there about what you're trying to achieve that is succinct, that people can make a decision about whether or not they want to get involved. Now, I think the emails that I sent out were quite good, arrogantly, she says. I think my success rate kind of shows that. Could they have been a bit shorter? Probably. They probably could have been. I probably could have trimmed it a little bit. But I wanted to get enough information across. It wasn't a very big email at all. But I wanted to get enough information across to prove to people so they could make a correct assessment for them based on one email, rather than me saying, I'm doing this, and them saying, tell me more, and me giving them a bit more, and them saying, tell me more, because it's just wasted their time. So I did think really hard about that communication I was sending out, and if it did tick all the boxes, that it needed to tick to allow people to make a decision. And you need to include information in there that will help people make that decision. So that can be, it depends on what you're asking, but how it would benefit you, how it could benefit them, the objective of what you're trying to do. I think it's also important, if it's someone's time you're looking for, to be clear about how much time is required. Is it 2 minutes? Is it 4 hours? How much time are you looking to get from that person? Because that's quite a big factor as well. If it's people across different time zones, obviously saying that you're willing to speak to them whenever works for them is good. So making sure that you are being as easy to work with as possible if you're making the ask, obviously. And also find out the right person to ask, because a lot of times, depending on who you deal with, you might go through someone's PA or their PR manager or their PA, or other communication people in their team, depending on how big their business is. So make sure you find the right people as well, because that does help. And I think being willing to work them in different ways. So as I said, most of the people that I spoke to, I interviewed. I did an audio interview with. One person was just absolutely rammed, and she sent over some voice notes that answered my questions, which I sent her, which was a great way to do it. It worked really well. I think I've had one person that did written responses, but then everything that I wrote, everything in the format it was in the book, got sent back over. So again, making sure that you've got a process in place that helps to ensure that everyone feels in control of their voice is super, super important. But that might not be relevant for you. So it's important to think about what you're asking, what information you can provide to the right person, what's in it for them, what you're going to gain out of it as well. Be honest and open. I think that's the best way to be. And going for it, really. You might find over time you trim bits off your email, you add bits into your email. But and this can work with anything. This can work with something that I was doing. It could work for sponsorship, brand ambassadorship, speaking at events, working with people, collaborating with people. You name it. If you know who you need to go after, do it. It works. So if you're struggling to find the right person to ask, obviously you can look on people's websites, depending on who they are. LinkedIn is a superb source of finding people in different positions within a company, and you can try and find the right person. Instagram's quite good. If the person you're looking to speak to is on Instagram, you can perhaps contact them through there, or you could contact their brand or business and ask for the right contact. That can work really, really well too. And I think just to manage expectations, be aware that when you contact people, some people will get back to you instantly. There are like A star students. Some people will just be beyond amazing. They'll bend over backwards. They'll help you all they can. They'll connect you with other people. I genuinely had people that connected me with some fabulous other people. They see the opportunity, they understand it, they're excited as you are, they send you well wishes, they do things at ridiculous hours. Like, I've had all of these. But be aware that some people will absolutely ignore you. Just completely ignore you. And that is quite bizarre, because these are business people that you're... Well, I don't know. I do ignore the odd email, like, I'll be honest with you. These are usually the kind of copy and pasted ones that call me Mr. I'll get rid of them. Ones that are clearly just no one has even researched what I do. I delete that. People that are sending me massive emails, I look and go, oh, I'll need to read that another time. Haven't found that other time yet. So I'm not saying that I've never ignored an email. I have. Now I feel quite bad about that. But I like to think that the emails that I sent, they were tailored, they were addressed to the right person. I referenced that person very high up. I made reference to actually why I thought they'd be good. I included information on different things that I thought would mean they were super interesting. I'd done the research, I'd done the work. But people will ignore you even if you do all of those things. But that's just a risk you take. And to be honest, you've got to think, okay, if they ignore me, am I any worse off? The answer is no. You're absolutely not worse off. If they say no, also, you're not worse off. Actually, you might be slightly better off because you've made a really good contact. So there were 2-3 people that I contacted for this book who just couldn't make it work because they were absolutely rammed. They weren't doing more interviews until March or something, which was absolutely fine. And I was very grateful to them for replying. But that doesn't mean that the door's closed forever. And actually, I've got 2 really, really good contacts who could be good for a future book or something else in the future, which I'm really excited about. So even if it's a no for now, that can still be a hugely powerful thing that you can do. I think the ones that have annoyed me the most are the ones that have messed me around. So I've had 3 people who said yes in one form or another and then have just wasted a huge amount of my time in the runaround. It's like a sliding scale. One's minorly annoying, but fine, life's like that. One was a bit more annoying because the person I wanted to speak to said yes, and then someone else was just horribly slow at getting back to me. It was just a ridiculous situation. And another one was really, really very annoying. I'm still quite angry about that. So I'm not going to go into it because I'll start ranting. But they've been the worst. The actual no's haven't been that bad. The no's haven't been bad. I've kind of got over being ignored. So really the ones that have messed me around have been the most annoying. But still, it hasn't reflected on me as a person. I think sometimes we just feel like if we have a no, it means that we're awful, that we've misjudged the situation, that our idea isn't good. Yeah, that isn't the case. That's just life. And the more you do it, not the less you care about the outcome, because everybody I emailed about this project, I would have genuinely been thrilled if they'd have said yes. But I also I don't know whether I just got more used to it. The more you do, the more you're expecting different things. So I would just say do it, because what happened was I did get some amazing yeses. I want to say 21 or 22 incredible people, like genuinely incredible people have been included in the book who have been amazing. I've met some people that I would absolutely love to speak to again, who were absolutely awesome, who I'm so delighted to have been able to share bits of their story and share them and their business and how they've built up what they do and their backstory. That it makes every no and being ignored, and even the 3 who really messed me around, worth it, because those people are amazing. And when you read the book, everybody in there has been next level incredible, and I am so excited for you to get to know them and love them a bit as well. So keep that in mind, because if I hadn't asked, they couldn't have said yes, because they wouldn't have known it was a thing. So it's really important that you ask, really. If you don't ask, you will never know. And it is hard getting rejections, but it's still worth it. I mean, I feel like my entire business has been built on me asking things. You do sometimes get things that fall in your lap. And I've been really lucky. I have had some things that have come out of the blue, which have been awesome. But a lot of the things some of the biggest, most exciting things that I've ever done, because I sort of zeroed in on what I wanted to achieve, who I needed to work with to achieve that. And I asked, and I didn't get a yes all the time. I didn't get a yes immediately at all. Some things I did, and some things were more of a slow burn, but it's worked. It works. It's a system that works. We just undervalue asking. It's just so basic, but it's so brilliant, because otherwise people don't know. So that's what the podcast is about today, was about asking. If you want something, ask. Find out who is the right person to ask. Put together a considered email that shows why you're asking, the thought behind it, what's in it for them, what's in it for you, how everyone's going to win from this. And just ask. It is worth it. Even if you get ignored, even if you get a no, even if you get messed around, it's worth it for the ones that say yes. And they are worth their weight in gold. Thank you very, very much for tuning in today. I hope that's been useful, and I'd love to know if you're going to ask people things. I would love to know if you've thought, you know what, I would really love to do that thing, but you haven't had the courage to ask. This is your challenge. Ask. Let me know how you get on. And I'll just give a quick shout out to my current book. Obviously, I've talked about the future book, which is very exciting. But book 1, Small and Supercharged, is very much still available. You can get that from Amazon if you just type in my name or Small and Supercharged. You will see that. It's got lots of lovely reviews, and I'm very grateful to everybody who has bought it and who has left a really kind review. Each one makes me smile. If you've bought it and you haven't left a review yet, please do. I do keep a careful beady eye on them, and they genuinely do make me smile so much to know that they've helped somebody or that people have acted on it and they've enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please do let me know if you've listened. I'd love to hear. I'd love to hear if you've had any success from just asking as well. It's just such an undervalued thing, and it just works so well. Take care, and we will catch up really, really soon. Bye.